There's an urban myth that is widespread, and that's that uh, the original Coca-Cola recipe had cocaine in it. I guess if you repeat something long enough, people will start to believe it is true. And this is repeated by Joe Rogan, many YouTube videos. And I don't know, maybe this is because people have never been in South America, had the chance to drink coca tea or hold the leaf in their hand. Um, you you have a situation where there's kind of like the Mandela effect. And this is actually something that I've looked into for a long time over years. Now there is the expert opinion, but a lot of those people that talk about soft drinks online are not experts. And I was confirmed by the expert opinion before I did this video by ChatGPT, but I had to very carefully word my question. So yesterday I did a search on ChatGPT, and they said that, yeah, the original soft drink had cocaine in it. But now I wrote a question and I had to be very careful about um uh, my question, and they confirmed, I guess, take it with a grain of salt, but this is what ChatGPT told me, that the original Coca-Cola recipe did not extract the cocaine alkaloid from the coca leaf and then insert it back into the tea. They would have used a process uh, that was more like what mate de coca or coca tea uses today, where the coca alkaloid would have been balanced with the rest of the plant. This is not cocaine, okay? Cocaine, whether made in a farmhouse in Colombia or whether it's made as a topical anesthetic for pharmaceutical companies, you have the concentrated uh, concentrated form of the concentrated amounts of the cocaine alkaloid that through a chemical process is separated, then concentrated. That's the stimulant that's in the coca leaf. Um, Different people have different experiences drinking mate de coca. You can also buy it in flour form where it's just ground up. And um, but there's no agreed upon definition of what cocaine is. Um, but what I've just articulated, I think that's the valid definition, is where you take the cocaine alkaloid out of the coca leaf plant, you concentrate it, you separate it, and that process was not undergone in the first Coca-Cola recipes. They were using something. They were using the whole leaf, um, made into like a liquid extract, but they weren't doing the chemical separation. So, it now when I say cocaine, I don't just mean the white powder that comes from Colombia. I actually also referring to whatever a chemist can do to separate the cocaine alkaloid from the cocaine leaf. And this is something that's not understood, and that's why there's an urban myth and why it's repeated in movies and on podcasts and in videos that the first Coca-Cola had cocaine in it. It didn't. Um, Drinking a coca tea is not the same as um, as cocaine. Different people have different experiences, like putting the coca flower into juice, making a smoothie or whatever. Um, but most people just describe it at best as like a little caffeine buzz. Now, eventually, Coca-Cola took out the cocaine alkaloid, but they kept the coca leaf. But it was their flavoring, and it's still the flavoring, along with a cola nut, which comes from Africa. That's why I call it Coca-Cola. Um, I had a student that had done a master's degree in business when I was teaching in Lima, Peru, and he confirmed that Well, he did an audit of the Peruvian national company, which is in charge of supervising and overseeing coca exports. And he audited them as part of this master's degree in economics. And he found that he had access to years going back of where most of the coca was sold, legal coca through this public company. This public entity recorded that year after year, the Coca-Cola company in the United States was the number one importer of coca leaves to the United States. Most of the Peruvian exports went to the Coca-Cola company. In fact, the Coca-Cola company even has a treaty with the United Nations and formal agreements with the DEA saying they cannot be busted for bringing large amounts of coca leaves into the United States. It's taken to a plant in New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, where the cocaine alkaloid is separated. And then they infuse the spent leaves or the decoconized coca leaves. They infuse it into the drink, and it's under proprietary flavors. They don't have to tell you all the stuff they use. They also use vanilla and cinnamon and essential oils and all this good stuff. That pure cocaine that they make at the plant in New Jersey, they make from separating it out of the coca leaves. That is then sold to pharmaceutical companies, where it's the best topical anesthetic. So if somebody's having eye surgery or nose surgery and they can't be intubated and completely put to sleep, they'll use that on the area where they're doing surgery. It's the best numbing. All these other topical anesthetics that end with cane, like Novocaine, and there's a bunch of them that end with cane. They're all synthetic copies of cocaine, which is the best topical anesthetic. It makes your skin numb and the nerves around it numb. But so please stop saying that the original Coca-Cola had cocaine in it. If I start making claims that the coca tea in Peru and Bolivia and Ecuador has cocaine in it, I'd be flagged as fake news. I can't make news reports and go on movies and say that the coca leaf tea, mate de coca, I can't say that that has cocaine in it. I'd be flagged, but yet it's because of the ignorance about people think that coca leaf is cocaine, like in the same way that they might think that the entire poppy plant is responsible for heroin. And I guess that analogy is for the birds, but you know what I'm saying. Now, there have been cases where people go to Peru or Bolivia and they're drinking mate de coca, and then they go back to the bank they work at in the United States and have a drug test, and they will show up positive for cocaine in a drug test. Just in the same way, if you eat a lot of poppy seed muffins, you can test positive for heroin, because the drug tests are very sensitive and they don't distinguish between whether you're having a natural form or a synthetic form of the drug. They're made to pick up trace amounts. So there you have it. A couple of other interesting factoids about Coca-Cola. In California, people would go to Mexican markets to buy Coca-Cola because they knew that the Mexican Coca-Cola was made with cane sugar, whereas the Coca-Cola that was marketed to the United States was made with corn syrup. Now that's changed because Robert Kennedy Jr. has been on this crusade and he's working with top companies, and Coca-Cola has now released not just for Mexico, but for the United States, Coca-Cola that goes back to using sugar. And I think that's good, even though white sugar, refined sugar is bad, corn syrup's even worse. And these stores in California that sell Mexican products. They sell Coke in a glass bottle, and you had the perception that it was better. Um, I frequently watch the ingredients of Coca-Cola over time to see if there's any change. And there's this Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola in Ecuador has just had undergone a change. And now this is original flavor, less sugar. Now that's something new. Percentage of the Coca-Cola just last year in Ecuador swapped out sugar for artificial sweetener. Sometimes it looks like they're using aspartame, sometimes something else, but it's funny how those changes can just go right over the head of the consumer. So drink that mate de coca when you're coming to Peru or Ecuador or Bolivia on vacation, because it's not going to do anything to you except maybe give you a slight buzz. But no, the problem is when we talk about Coca-Cola, we don't define what we mean by cocaine. And people think that the original Coca-Cola had cocaine in it, and this is an urban myth. They're separating out the cocaine alkaloid, and Coca-Cola makes a lot of money selling literal cocaine to pharmaceutical companies. Funny how that works. But in the same way that there's special drawing rights, special patent rights that are given to the Coca-Cola company to handle large amounts of what would of a prohibited substance, because you can't take tons of coca leaf from Brazil to Colombia across borders, because you'd be flagged as a narco trafficker, because that's the raw material that then shows up in these barnyard cocaine labs in Colombia. So they have special permission, just like there's special permission given to companies in the United States that want to bring hemp in from different places so that they can make hemp cereal and hemp chocolate and use it for food, or hemp oil, because we don't have enough domestic production of hemp to satisfy the American consumer. And so there's all sorts of special permissions that is given. What I don't like is the fact that the Coca-Cola company has a monopoly on the use of coca leaves. That's not fair. Who made them the top dog? So, and they therefore also have a monopoly on the market, because other soft drink manufacturers can't do the same thing.